Hi, welcome back. This is cetriya, Cetriya, and today is day 39 of 100 days of making comics. So we're about a third of the way through, well, a little over a third of the way through. Today was not too bad. I'm updating this video a day later because the previous video did not upload correctly. But so far, based on my energy level and based on what needs to be done, pretty much will be able to update a video for every day of this weekday coming up until Friday. So Friday I will have the last video uploaded for the week. Based on how well I've been inking, and you could probably see as I'm working through the comic that I'm already starting to catch up to my previous level of doing comics, because each time you stop doing something you kind of atrophy a little bit, you kind of lose a little bit of information as time goes on, as you do not use the skills that you have previously learned. So for this I'm completing page 9 right about now, and I would have done 2 pages today because I'm starting to ink a little faster, and also the panels aren't that complex at this moment. I know as time goes on they'll be more complex, especially since I'm the type that likes to be more challenging, or to challenge myself. So I know I'm planning to make my pages far more complicated, my panels more complicated, and as I've mentioned in previous videos, just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean you should ignore it, and just take the critiques or the feedback as you go, and just try to gather your material so that way you could eventually learn it as you go with more practice. But as I was saying, I would have finished page 11 today because page 11 is more organic stuff, and I know in this chapter there's I believe there's 2 pages where there's a lot of background detail, and I really want to spend my time making those pages not only to shine but also just making them actually be readable, because I know those are challenging pages for me. They're not something that I typically do on my own in my own illustrations. If anything, especially if I'm doing illustrations for work, unless they specifically ask for it, I tend to avoid them, because it's not out of fear that I avoid them, but anytime you're doing something of that high detail quality, it does actually affect on your health. If you are not watching or following my Instagram, you will see a couple of photos now and then when I post where I actually take a piece of tissue paper, wrap it around my finger, and then take that around to give my fingers some sort of cushion. And also, when you're using any kind of material, whether it's a paintbrush, a pen, or in my case a digital Wacom stylus, you eventually will develop cramps in your hands, because it's not a natural thing to be doing such minor and such precise actions, repeated actions over and over and over again. You need some kind of break, or eventually it'll get to you. So I know for a fact that I'm probably going to start switching out medium and switching out how I'm using my arm a little bit more often, so that way I can get as much use out of them for as long as I live, because it would be a pretty sad thing for me to be about, in the next 10 or 15 years, and then I just can't hold a pen or pencil anymore. That would be very sad. So that means I have roughly 6 pages. I want to say 6.5 pages, maybe 7. I think chapter 1 is actually 17 pages, not 16. But for some reason, thinking that it's 16 pages make me feel like I'm getting closer towards the end. And I am starting to get that little upkeep of adrenaline of I'm finally going to have something finished to do. And I'm also kind of happy that even though I didn't get chapter 2 done for September, I am still keeping my September launch date for the first chapter of Crossstar. So pretty soon I'm going to start having more of a clarity on how to describe the series to you guys, and also not have it be too much of a spoiler. And I do need to start developing that little thing called a website of mine. It's a pretty naked website, and start adding all of those things. I feel for the most part it'll be during the month of December or the end of November where I'm really just going to hunker down and do all this. But first, as I said, I want to finish out the year of being as productive as possible. I did start out with a pretty hefty list. I do think that it's not that it wasn't unrealistic, it's just it was mix of wishful thinking, and also based on when I was at my most peak, thinking that I am capable of producing that same amount of things. But I'm still capable of producing more than I have this year. I just did not have the discipline, and then you add the fact that I was not at the best of my health. So hopefully as the next year comes in, I've developed that discipline. So if my health stays the same, as in not the greatest, I'd still start to produce more. And as I'm still working on my health, trying to get in my 10 minutes a day of high intensity. No, I have not started that, but I'm trying to eventually. Starting on a better diet and just taking care of myself, that my body will start to produce all of that good energy, and I can get to making more stuff. Of course, making comics or any kind of art where you sit down for a long period of time is not necessarily conducive of good health. I know that I have to be careful with my lower back, even though I'm pretty young, but I'm already starting to have like warning signs, so I definitely need to work on that. But let's think about little happier things of a quick note. As I said, I'm on page 10 right now. I have about 6 or 7 more pages to do, and today is Tuesday, so that and Thursdays I don't think I'll have time really to work on it. I may end up having I'll have to see if I have a very simple page to work on for Thursday. In that case, I'll leave it for them, but for the most part tomorrow I'm hoping to work on 2 pages of the comic. Oh, by the way, I did get to go to the library today, and they do allow for me to borrow the Cintiq pen, so I may be able to work on the Cintiq, but it is a college library, and I do not want to take away the computer for something that is essentially a hobby for me, for the students who are currently paying an even higher tuition than I paid for, and for them needing to do something due on a deadline, and for me to be taking up that resources. So I'm hoping for me to use up the place or get there right after work and just use up an extra hour or two, because I think most of the students will start using up the library later on in the evening. So tomorrow's plan is to get 2 pages done and then to come back home and deal with whatever I need to be dealing with. And that would mean I would have essentially 4 to 5 pages left. Thursday is a maybe. It's a serious maybe. Friday, hopefully, the library on Friday closes at 8 also. But I'm hoping that Friday being the end of the week, that there'd be less students, and maybe I could just like zip right in and get myself an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of work, and then go home and hopefully get 2 pages done there. So then the most challenging page will probably end up being Saturday after I run my morning errands. So that'll be interesting. And then Sunday, whatever I have not finished will just be spending the entire day. And then once I get after Sunday, the next week will be the week of me cleaning up any inking work, adding in any detail that needs to be added, and dialogue, and then toning. So I probably will maybe make it there on the border, but I know that the comic will be posted probably the week of Labor Day, so after Labor Day, and then hopefully do a weekly update after that. Today was day 39, as I said. Thank you again for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next video.